Today, all is going to be about interventions and about the work you do and to use the information you already applied and you still will get over the upcoming days, how to put that into interventions. And of course, we have some aims, we have an aim and objectives for today. We will go through the aim and objectives. So after today, you will be able to offer structured interventions specifically to people who participate in Chemsex. And you will be able to identify interventions that can support Chemsex participants with mental, physical, and sexual issues. So as of today, it's going to be very, very practical because you're beginning to apply interventions which follow the structure of physical, mental, and sexual issues. And this afternoon, we are going to party because we are going to categorize Chemsex interventions into pre, during, and post-party interventions. And we also demonstrate the ability to offer interventions within these categories to clients. And just to specify, if I'm going to talk about parties, I also mean 2 people, more people, but even if somebody is partying on his own at home, using chems and having sexual activities by him or herself. I need Simon here. Cheng, I would like to invite you as well. I am the client and Cheng is going to translate for me. Hello.
Hi, Chef. Good to see you.
Thank you.
How are you today?
Okay.
Okay.
Can I take some time to speak to you about some of the things that we spoke about last time?
Yes.
So the last time we spoke, you mentioned that you've been going to some parties and that sometimes you were having some issues. How is that going?
I have a rash.
Okay, you have a rash?
Yes.
And this rash, do you know how it appeared on your body, where it came from, what happened? Tell me more about this rash.
It's difficult.
I can imagine. I can imagine that you say it's difficult. What's the most difficult thing about it?
It's the location. To give an idea, yesterday I said, if clients come to you because they need information on safe sex, that might be fairly easy. Or maybe if they need some information on how they should work in the Chemsex scene or how they should party in the Chemsex scene, general information, that might be easy as well. But it's going to be, or it can be more difficult when we are talking about delicate subjects, as I tried to show you with the conversation with Simon. Because maybe I don't feel comfortable to talk about this, or I don't feel safe, or I have trouble telling exactly what is happening to me. And before I go over to a few of the delicate subjects, I would also like to stress out that especially when we talk physical or mental, but also sexual topics, that most of us, and maybe none of us, are medical doctors or therapists. So bear that in mind when you give advice or talk about interventions, that there is always an option to refer somebody to somebody who is specialized in that specific. And with all the experience you have and which you showed in telling us about the interventions you already apply, I would like to give you a few which I think could be delicate topics to talk about. So for example, if you're going to talk mental issues and focus on extreme craving for chems and sex. I from experience know what it is to have extreme cravings, and I was always happy when somebody explained to me that cravings do not have to lead automatically to using. And one of the advices or tips you could give is that it's easier to handle a craving if you do not keep it for yourself, but if you talk about it, either with the outreach worker or maybe in your network with friends. Talking about it with other people who use is, I think, not a good idea. And a good advice is try to find distractions. Go for a walk, watch a movie. So do something else to set your mind to something else, because cravings will pass. This is the easiest one. But what if somebody comes up to you because he or she is suffering from low libido? A low sex drive. Doesn't feel like having sex again without using drugs. And this applies especially to men having sex with men or men having sex, because it can be about the erectile stimulants, which are widely used within the chemsex scene. And if you use those, you get dependent on those as well. So a nice intervention would be to get somebody to talk about it, to talk about the use of erectile stimulants, and then maybe you could advise somebody, not like, oh, don't do it, because that's too difficult, but maybe try and lower the doses. The group who talked about the sexual interventions already gave a very good one, because it is about dopamine. So try doing something else which also gives you dopamine. For example, go for exercise. And what also might help is to talk about fear of getting erections during sex. I know that I used a lot of erection stimulants as well. And my mind was right away set to, I have to get this hard on, and if I don't have my pill or the injection, it is not going to happen. So breathe, relax, take the mind off getting that hard on, and maybe laugh about it. Simon, you would like to add something?
Yes, and in the case of other people who might participate in chemsex, people without a penis and also experience low libido, the same kind of advice to drink a lot of water, do a lot of exercise, and try the best to relax. But for someone with a vagina, actually drinking a lot of water will really help with that natural lubrication.
Then let's move over to physical issues. A difficult one to talk about might be anal tearings, like the tissue around the anus. What helps first is, if somebody comes with this problem, ask about sexual activity, about the use of lube, and explain the importance of using lube when having anal sex. Advice to keep the area clean, but do not use soap. Warm water can do very good tricks. A warm bath would be nice, and have the skin air dry. Try to keep away. That's an advice you can give as well. And I think, well, if you really have this issue, you will keep away. But if you can't, but try to keep away from anal sex until the skin has recovered. Bear in mind that you're not a medical doctor, so advise to see a community-friendly doctor if symptoms do not reduce. Another one which is difficult to talk about can be penis damage, vagina damage, and also the anal tearing, which we were talking about. Again, try to get the client to talk about it, to talk about the sexual activities, how it might be caused, and also, and that goes, of course, that goes for females the same, and also in most cases, it could be because of lack of using lube. And of course, again, advice to refrain from sex, and that might do the trick. And if symptoms hold on, try to refer to a doctor.